Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's June 21st. This will be our chart lesson for today, and this is going to wrap up our week. No chart lessons on Friday, so another quick week. Seemed like we just started Monday yesterday, but it's already Thursday. So anyway, for the most part, we were sideways today. It was well, I take that back. Early morning, it was downhill. Notice that we had this leg down, a correction, and we had a second leg down. So you got your two legs down, and then we just really went sideways after that. There's your first leg. There's your second leg. We didn't quite make that second leg. It's pretty close, but the majority of the day was just sideways. So there's no real clear resistance or support area though, so it makes it a little more difficult. Really all you could do was trade these short-term trends up and down. You just didn't have any other option there. So it wasn't clear like yesterday morning in this real tight range here where the resistance is real clear, and we tested it over and over, and the support was basically from here on was real clear. We kept testing it over and over until we broke through. So when it's real obvious, it makes it much easier than it does when you have no clear cut. You know, the resistance was down here, then it moved up to here, then it was back down here, and the support was a little closer. I don't have it on here. There's not a lot of buys here because the overall bias was still mostly down. It looked like we were going to reverse here, and we just continued to go sideways. So let me back out a little bit, make it a little bigger. We'll talk about the trades, and we'll wrap the week up. But early on when I came in, we had been trending down, and we had this breakout. And it looked like we were going to go sideways here, but notice you draw your trend off that first couple of swings, and that trend line held until we came back to it here where we got the break, and then we tried to move to a new low, and we didn't get to a new low until in the late this afternoon after 2 o'clock. So the price action played out. The key is trying to figure out when it's going to reverse here, and you got to let that reverse play out. So you really want a reversal pattern here before you get short. No, usually I would want to see a close outside convincing and a new high, and we never got that really today. Sorry, I had an interruption there, but trying to remember where we were. I can't remember where we left off, but anyway, normally you'd like to see a break here and a new high. I think that's what we were talking about, and we never got that. We just started trending back down, and we finally made the new low. But the bigger pattern was the down move, and it took most of the day to work on down there. So let's talk about the trades, and we'll wrap it up. We had this first leg down. I think this is where we were back to. We had the break here, and notice, and then on the short-term trend up, we had a close outside new high, and we kind of worked down. I really thought we may continue on up from here. It's just simply because we had such a big overshoot. Even if you try to get a measured distance over here, there's, it's still a huge overshoot. That's probably going to be close right in there. Somewhere right in there. But anyway, even with that, you still get an overshoot. So I was expecting prices to maybe run on up and fill this, come back up and test this breakout area up here. Notice we never tested this one. We actually came back and tested this one, but we never came back and tested this level here. So I was kind of looking for prices to come back. We did come back and test this one right here, but we couldn't get any higher than that. But anyway, once we made these two swings, draw your line, and it was pretty, pretty quickly you could tell prices were working down this trend line. Early on, I thought the lower trend might be here, but didn't turn out that way. It turns out to be way down here. And so this looks like a midline working through here. But anyway, this trend line was your key entry point. And this is what we're interested in right here. And we got a lower high right here. Notice that you got we're working up right here. We got your close outside, new high. Then we make a big move down. Look how it pushes through the EMA, pulls back, and it gives you a second entry short there with a nice bearish bar. It's not a huge bar either. Go short right there. There's actually a failed second entry long right there, but that's so much sideways. I just, I just wasn't crazy about entering, and that's not a very bearish bar. Of course, this one is, but this is really your signal bar right here with those 2-bar matching highs. But then we come back to the trend line again, and I really treat it. You really can treat this like a double top. It's not quite, but you can treat it like a new high as well because there are 2 swings in there, even though it didn't. Uh, Break higher and correct and come back. There is a 2-bar matching high there too, which makes it a second entry when it breaks above. But the main thing is it's a second entry short after this big bearish move down and a nice bar. And then, but I really I treated this basically like a new high, so that's a first entry and then a second entry. But either way, you got a nice bearish bar right off the key entry point that's proven itself 1, 2, 3 times there. So I like going short right there. It actually comes back again right here and gives you another big bearish bar. It comes back again here, but this bar is too bullish, and then this one's too far down and you got to go short here. So it's not a very good setup. You might have considered this one, but again, you're going short. We're getting close down here to this support and so forth. There may still be room to get out there, but you're just away from the EMA, and there's too big a chance that it bounces back here. And this is really, at one point I was looking at, let me just show you this. If you drag this down, there's just a lot of support right across there, and you have to go short right into that. So I don't like that. So I didn't mark that one. It's a shame that it took off like it did, but you could have been in that one from either one of these. Both of these would have held a runner, and off it goes. And this is a nice move down, and then it bounces. There is a little bit of a trend line working, a shorter term trend line working down, but we close outside of here, and then we move to a new low. And unfortunately, you don't really get a setup here to take this part down either. So needless to say, with this big bearish bar, you might let it break lower here and drop a limit order back 1 tick below what would have been your signal bar here, and it would have come back and filled you and then ridden this down. But I just think that's too risky because you don't know. I mean, we're a long way away from the EMA here and working back, and you just don't really know that this is going to make this next leg down, and I just think it's too risky. There really is 2 legs up here. You move up, correction, second leg. So you might have considered that, but honestly, I think you needed to enter up here and just kind of ride this one out. If you weren't already in or you've already exited, you just kind of have to watch that one. I'll mark it green, but I'm not crazy about it at all. And then, of course, you do have a little jog back here, and it actually goes higher and turns and goes lower. So you're probably going to have some people trapped, but I'm not going to go short there. That's the low of the day, and I just don't think you want to be going short down there when you're that far away from the EMA for a little bit of time there. And, of course, you're just going sideways and you correct, and this is where you got to be really careful. If you'd had a nice signal bar, you might have gone short right here. And there is a double bottom right here, and there's a little jog up. But that's kind of going sideways. That's a doji, so, and you're above the EMA, so I don't like that one either. But when it comes back, if this would have been a more bearish bar, or even slightly mostly bearish, I'd say maybe. But we do come back and make that lower high here, and you get a little, you can treat that really like a double test. We didn't quite get back up there, but it's a double top and then a lower high and a nice bearish bar. And there is a new swing low here, so you move up first entry, second entry. It's also a second entry short, so I like that one. Didn't go much further, but that's good for a couple of points there. And then it bounces, and you're not really looking for a long here simply because this trend this has been a big move down. Of course, this was too steep, and this one's still a little bit steep, but this is more of your 45-degree angle. So this is still a valid trend that you got to be very careful about. So you don't want to be taking any longs unless you got a really good setup. There is a second entry there, but look at how we've been going sideways there. I just don't think there's anything you want to enter. It does fail to the long side. Look at all that resistance. You can't go long into that. And so when it breaks higher and fails and gives you a second entry short, when you're looking for a new low, I like that one. And this one got just enough to scalp out, and then it bounces. And really by this time, it's obvious that this is kind of some congestion here, and just stay out of this. It bounces and comes back here and bounces right off what looks like to be a trend line coming up through there, and the EMA gives you a nice bullish bar. There's not much room here. It is a breakout pullback long too, so I'd rather see a little something, a little more before I'm ready to believe this thing's going to go higher yet. Again, this is just sideways, so the play is long, and when it looks like you're probably going to be trapped. So if you try to get short there, you got burned. And then when it comes back a third time and bounces, I like that one. Technically, this is not a failed second entry short, but you're going sideways here, so there is a double bottom. So that is a new low. First entry short, second entry short. You can go long there, and then it makes that little extra jog back, thinking they fooled people, and it just traps somebody short again. And with that trend line holding like that, don't be going short until you get something confirmed in the other direction. So I like those two for sure. And at this point, you had to be thinking we may go higher, but it doesn't work out that way. Suddenly it sells off and boom. And you're a long way away from the EMA here. That is very tempting, and it would have worked. It would have been a great move, but you can't risk it with that trend line working up through there. So you just really can't risk that one. But notice how that pushes right on through the EMA, pulls back. You get a first entry, and then it comes up here again, and you get a second entry long move up. You really got one here, but when it comes on up there and gives you that bearish bar right off the EMA, I'd be looking for something closer to a measured move here at that point. You don't end up getting that either, but it did attempt to continue to go lower, and we came up short, and then it bounces. But that's basically a failed second entry long and a nice bearish bar right off the EMA. It's a first entry counting off the lows, but it doesn't really matter based on the fact that it's a failure, because you really don't have a close outside this line here. Even though the stems are getting outside, notice where all the closes are. You don't really get a close outside until here, and those are still bearish. So I would expect it to try to make a new low there, and it may go on down and try to make that measured move. And then look at it rocket up right through the EMA, pulls back, first entry short, then it pulls back again, second entry short, and actually goes lower and turns up here. And you're looking, and you got a short-term trend line. There may be something even, working off this. You don't have anything there to prove it out yet, but I would be looking for this to test this high anyway, and there's a failed second entry short. So that's a great place to go long. It jogs back here and makes a higher low, but then it can't go any higher, and so I wouldn't enter anywhere along here. Even though it would have worked, I wouldn't enter in there, because you're going long right into that resistance, and you've already got a break, and all you need is one tick higher for a new high, and it could rock it down. It does end up pushing on up and making a high, and then your double top here, or lower high and a bearish bar a little ways away from the EMA. Go short right there. Then you get your failed second entry long here, and it goes higher again and turns and goes out the other side. I would just have a sell stop right there. And then on this one, you could put a sell stop there on that. I actually drew the trend line off these lows first and drug it up here. And that's how I found that line. And so, but this is also a double top. So you can count that as a new high too, and then you get another failed second entry long right there. After 2 legs down, it fails and gives you another bearish bar. And this is also a little breakout pullback short from right across here. There is some resistance. Most of it was up a little higher here. And so this trade here was really a breakout pullback short. But notice there's a little more support here, so you get another one right there. Just kind of verifies, instead of going short down there, let it come back and pick up on this trade. In other words, when this went higher first and when it came down and went out the other side, you could have gone short, but you'd been better off to either go short, have your stop already below this bar, or let it break below this one and drop your sell order, limit sell order back here where it was supposed to go, or maybe even a tick right at the low or a tick into it, and you could have gotten filled at least a tick into this bar. Or you could have just waited on this one and gone short right there. Either way, there's 3 different ways you could have really done that, and I don't have a problem adding on with this one. If you were already in here or in here, you could have added on there each one of those. And then you get another second entry short right here. Notice the low, first entry, second entry. That's the first break of this trend. Oops, didn't mean to do that. It's the first break of this trend channel, but not a very good bar. It does break higher here and turn down, but with it being a perfect double bottom there, again, I'm just a little leery of going short right there. Anyway, it's after 2 o'clock, so I wouldn't have marked it anyway, but that was tempting. But I'm just a little leery after 2 o'clock with that double bottom there. If you get a really good setup right after, the first 10 minutes or so at 2 o'clock, you could probably take it. And occasionally I'll mark those. And that one, when it broke higher there and turned and went right out the other side, that's very tempting. I wouldn't wait till this bar closed and go there really, but when it broke higher and turned and went out, you might take that trade. Just something to think about. But not a bad day. Not nearly as clear as yesterday. You had to be really patient, especially from here to here. I mean, you got to sit there really from 9 o'clock to almost 10 o'clock, and then before you get a setup. And then even in this, you just had to kind of wait from here we are about 10:40 or 10:45, and you got to wait till noon almost. And so then from noon to almost 1 o'clock, and then from 1 o'clock almost into the 2 o'clock hour. So you had to be really, really patient. And I got a couple of emails about that too. So just not nearly as clear or as volatile as it was the previous day. But the key on days like this is to use your short-term stuff and just follow your rules and your shorter term trends and little ranges and support and resistance, and that will generally keep you on the right side of the trade. So anyway, that's what we had today. We can't argue. You can't argue with the market. You take what it gives you, and sometimes you can trade for an hour in the morning and be done. Sometimes you got to trade most of the day, and sometimes you wish you'd just stayed home. So I did miss most of the morning. I traded early for about an hour or so, and then I had to leave. I had some other business this morning, so the mid-morning chart was a little bit earlier than I would have liked to put it up there, but I just didn't have much option. And if I wanted to put one up at all, I think that was better than nothing. But I had some unexpected business I had to take care of, so I had to leave before 9 o'clock this morning. And I wanted to put something up since I was here, but I didn't get to trade much this morning until I got back here about 1 o'clock, and so I was here from about 1 o'clock through the close. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up for today and for this week, and we will be back again Monday. But I'm done for today, and hope you had a great week. Hope you have a better weekend, and we'll be back. I'll talk to you when we get back on Monday. But I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.